The marble floor of GM Taeyong's office is so polished I can see my terrified reflection staring back at me. My hands are shaking as I clutch Hanul closer to my chest, his wails echoing off the floor-to-ceiling windows that overlook Seoul's glittering skyline. Every eye in this building has been on me since security escorted me up, the shabby Omega in a worn jacket, carrying a crying baby into the kingdom of the untouchable GM Taeyong. "Please," I whisper, hating how my voice cracks. "Just look at him. Really look at him." Taeyong doesn't even glance up from his tablet. He's exactly as I remember from that night 9 months ago, devastatingly beautiful in a way that makes my chest ache. Sharp jawline, jet black hair styled perfectly, a charcoal suit that probably costs more than 6 months of my rent. But his eyes. God, his eyes are different. That night they were warm, almost kind, softened by champagne and loneliness. Now they're ice. "Mr. Bekdajan," he says, my name sounding like a curse in his deep voice. "You have 30 seconds before I have you removed." Again. Again. I step forward, and Hanul's cries intensify. "I've never been here before." "Then you're simply the latest." Taeyong finally sets down his tablet, standing to his full imposing height. He's at least 6 feet tall, and I'm barely 5'7". Do you people coordinate? Every 3 months, someone shows up claiming I fathered their child. It's pathetic. Heat floods my face, shame and rage mixing into something toxic. I'm not lying. That night at the Signal Hotel, the charity gala, you were alone at the bar. I attend 12 galas a year. His voice is bored now, which somehow hurts worse than the anger. I'm alone at the bar at most of them. Try again. You told me about your mother. The words burst out desperately. How she wanted you to be a doctor, but you chose business instead. How you still feel guilty. You showed me a photo of your dog, a white Samoyed named Gurium. Something flickers across his face, so quick I almost miss it. His jaw tightens. You wore a navy suit with silver cufflinks, I continue, my voice breaking. We talked for 2 hours. You said I had kind eyes. You said, I swallow hard. You said you hadn't felt that comfortable with someone in years. Taeyong's expression hardens back into stone. Clearly, I say many things when I'm drunk. It doesn't make your child mine. Our child. I'm shaking now, Hanul picking up on my distress and screaming louder. Why won't you just take the DNA test? If you're so sure, prove it. He laughs, actually laughs, and it's the cruelest sound I've ever heard. I don't need to prove anything. Security. The door opens immediately. 2 men in black suits step in, and my heart drops into my stomach. Wait, please. I back up against the window, clutching Hanul like they might rip him from my arms. I'm not asking for money. I don't want anything from you. He deserves to know his father. He deserves better than a con artist for a parent. Taeyong turns back to his desk, dismissing me entirely. Escort Mr. Beck out. Alert the front desk that he's not to be admitted again under any circumstances. The guards move toward me, and panic claws up my throat. This can't be happening. I've imagined this moment 1,000 times. Hoped for anger, for denial, even for rejection. But this cold, absolute certainty that I'm lying? This is so much worse. His eyes. I choke out as the first guard reaches for my arm. Look at his eyes. And maybe it's the raw desperation in my voice, or maybe it's fate, but Taeyong glances up at that exact moment. Hanul has stopped crying, his tiny face turned toward the window, and the afternoon sun streams directly across his features. His eyes are gold amber, like someone liquefied autumn leaves and crystallized them. Unusual. Striking. Impossible to look away from. I watch Taeyong's face drain of color. The guards have my arms now, pulling me toward the door, but Taeyong hasn't moved. He's staring at Hanul with an expression I can't read, shock, maybe, or recognition, or fear. His hand has come up to his chest, fingers pressed against his tie like he's forgotten how to breathe. Sir, one of the guards questions. Taeyong blinks, and the moment shatters. His face closes off again, but I saw it, that split second of doubt. Get them out, he says quietly. Now. The guards drag me through the door. I don't fight, what's the point? Hanul is crying again, And I'm crying too, hot angry tears that I hate myself for shedding. The elevator ride down feels like falling into hell. Employees stare as we pass through the lobby, their whispers following us like ghosts. The guards deposit me on the sidewalk outside GM Tower like I'm trash. The moment they release me, I crumble onto a nearby bench, rocking Hanol and trying to remember how to breathe. I'm sorry, I whisper into his soft hair. I'm so sorry, baby. I tried. Mr. Beck. I jerk my head up. A young man in glasses and an expensive suit stands before me, glancing nervously back at the building. His name tag reads Shim Gulbai, Executive Assistant. I can't talk long, he says quickly, pressing a business card into my hand. But Mr. GM isn't usually like this. He's been hurt before. Badly. Just. He glances back again. Don't give up. His bark is worse than his bite. Before I can respond, Gulbai hurries back inside. I look down at the card. It's Taeyong's private number, a line he clearly never expected me to have. That night, after I've finally gotten Hanol to sleep in our tiny apartment, my phone buzzes with a bank notification. Transfer received, 15 million Korean wons. Sender, unknown. My hands go numb. 15 million won, the exact amount the hospital quoted me for Hanol's heart surgery. The surgery I've been desperately saving for, knowing I'll never afford it in time. I stare at my phone, then at Hanol sleeping in his crib, then back at the message. What the hell is GM Taeyong playing at? I don't sleep for 3 days after the money appears in my account. Every time I close my eyes, I see Taeyong's face, that flash of recognition when he saw Hanol's eyes, then nothing. Like a door slamming shut. Padong thinks I'm losing my mind. Did you just use the money, he says, sprawled across my couch while Hanol gums a teething ring on the floor. Who cares where it came from? Hanol needs that surgery. I care. I'm pacing again, wearing a path in my already threadbare carpet. What if it's a trap? What if he's documenting that I accepted money so he can claim I'm a gold digger? You're overthinking this. The man's a billionaire. 15 million won is probably like 15 won to him. Maybe he just felt guilty for being an asshole. I want to believe that. God, I want to believe Taeyong has some shred of decency buried under all that ice. But I can't shake the feeling that something else is happening, something I don't understand yet. My phone rings. A known number. My heart stops. Hello. Mr. Beck? It's Shim Gulbai. His voice is hushed, like he's hiding in a bathroom stall. Are you free this Friday at 2 p.m.? I work. Call in sick. Mr. GM has agreed to the DNA test. But it has to be completely private. I'm texting you an address. It's a clinic in Gangnam. Come alone. The line goes dead. I stare at my phone, then at Padong, who's trying very hard to look like he wasn't eavesdropping. So, he asks. He agreed to the test. Padong sits up, nearly knocking over his coffee. Really? Holy shit, that's it. Why do you look terrified? Because I am terrified. What if the test is negative somehow? What if I'm wrong about everything? What if it's positive and Taeyong still doesn't want us? Don't get your hopes up, Padong says gently, reading my mind like always. Even if the test proves Hanol is his, it doesn't mean he'll suddenly become father of the year. Rich people are different. They don't think like us. I know he's right. But I can't stop hope from blooming in my chest anyway, fragile and desperate. Friday comes too fast and too slow. I've changed Hanol's outfit 3 times, convinced each one sends the wrong message. The yellow onesie with ducks is too childish. The plain white one is too boring. I finally settle on a soft blue romper that brings out his eyes, those impossible golden eyes that started all of this. The clinic is tucked away on a quiet street, the kind of place that doesn't advertise because it doesn't need to. Money whispers here instead of shouts. A nurse greets us immediately, like she's been waiting, and leads us to a private room that's more like a luxury hotel suite than a medical facility. Taeyong is already there. He's sitting in an armchair by the window, and for a moment, I forget how to breathe. He's wearing casual clothes, dark jeans and a black sweater, and somehow that makes him look more intimidating, not less. Without the armor of a suit, he just looks tired. There are shadows under his eyes I didn't notice before. He doesn't look at me. His gaze goes straight to Hanul. Mr. GM, Gulbai says nervously from behind me. Mr. Beck is here. I can see that. Taeyong's voice is flat. Let's get this over with. The nurse explains the procedure. Simple cheek swabs results in 3 days, but I barely hear her. I'm watching Taeyong watch Hanul, and there's something in his expression that makes my throat tight. Not quite longing. Not quite fear. Something in between. May I? The nurse asks, gesturing to Hanul. I nod, but my arms don't want to let go. She's gentle though, quick with the swab while making funny faces that actually get Hanul to giggle. The sound breaks something in the room's tension. Taeyong's turn. He opens his mouth obediently, still not looking at me, but I see his hands. They're clenched on the armrests, knuckles white. All done, the nurse chirps. Results will be ready Monday morning. We'll call you both. Monday. 3 more days of this limbo. Wait outside, Taeyong says suddenly. Both of you. Gulbai jumps. Sir? You and the nurse. Wait outside. I need. He finally looks at me, really looks at me, and I see something raw flash across his face before he can hide it. 5 minutes. That's all. They leave. The door clicks shut. It's just us now, me, Taeyong, and the baby who might bridge the impossible distance between us. Taeyong stands slowly, like he's approaching a wild animal. May I hold him? I almost drop Hanul in shock. You want to hold him? He stops, jaw working. I need to. I don't make him finish. I walk over and carefully transfer Hanul into his arms, showing him how to support the head, where to put his hands. Taeyong is shaking. This powerful, terrifying man is shaking as he holds our son for the first time. Hanul stares up at him with those golden eyes. Then, like the traitor he is, he smiles and reaches for Taeyong's face with one chubby hand. He likes you, I whisper, because the moment feels too fragile for normal volume. Taeyong lets Hanul grab his finger. His eyes are suspiciously bright. He shouldn't. I was cruel to you. To both of you. It's the closest thing to an apology I'm going to get, I think. Why did you agree to the test? I ask. After you were so sure. His eyes. Taeyong's voice is hoarse. My father had eyes like that. And his father before him. It's genetic, some recessive trait that skips generations. When I saw... He shakes his head. I couldn't stop thinking about it. We stand there in silence, watching Hanul try to eat Taeyong's expensive watch. It almost feels normal. It almost feels like we could be a family. Then Gulbai's voice comes through the door, panicked. Sir, I'm so sorry, I tried to stop her, but... The door slams open. There are paparazzi downstairs, Gulbai gasps. Someone tipped them off. And... He looks at me with genuine pity. Your face is already online. They're calling you the Omega who's trying to trap GM Taeyong. The fragile moment shatters. Taeyong's face goes blank again, that careful mask sliding back into place. He hands Hanul back to me like he's made of glass. Gulbai will escort you out through the service entrance. I'll handle the press. Wait. 3 days, Mr. Beck. His voice is so cold again. We'll know the truth in 3 days. Until then, I suggest you stay offline. He walks out without looking back. I stand there, Hanul babbling obliviously in my arms, and feel hope crumbling in my chest. Come on, Gulbai says softly, touching my elbow. Let's get you home. As he leads me toward the back stairs, he leans close and whispers, for what it's worth? I saw his face when he held your son. That wasn't nothing. 3 days, I think. I can survive 3 more days. I have to. Monday morning tastes like metal and fear. I've been awake since 4 a.m., watching my phone like it might explode. Hanul is mercifully still asleep, one tiny fist curled near his face, completely unaware that today might change everything. The apartment is too quiet. Even the usual sounds of Seoul waking up outside my window feel muted, like the whole world is holding its breath with me. My phone buzzes at exactly 9 a.m. Results are in. Clinic. 1 hour. Gulbai. I move on autopilot, change Hanul, pack his bag, catch a taxi I can't afford. Padong offered to come, but I told him no. Some things you have to face alone, even when you're terrified. The clinic looks different in the morning light. Less like a secret and more like a judgment. I pay the taxi driver with shaking hands and walk inside, Hanul heavy in my carrier against my chest. His weight is the only thing keeping me grounded. The waiting room is empty except for Gulbai, who jumps up the moment he sees me. He's already here, Gulbai says, and I can't read his expression. Didn't I need to tell you something before you go in. Is it positive or negative? My voice doesn't sound like mine. Just tell me. It's not my place. But he touches my arm briefly. Whatever happens in there, remember that you're a good father. That matters more than anything else. Why does that sound like a warning? He opens the door to the same private room from before. Taeyong is standing by the window, backlit by harsh morning sun, and he's holding a manila envelope. His whole body is rigid, like someone's replaced his spine with steel. Close the door, he says without turning around. I do. My legs feel like water. The test is positive. His voice is completely flat. 99.9% probability. He's mine. The room tilts. I knew it had to be, but hearing it out loud makes it real in a way that steals my breath. Taeyong. Don't. He finally turns, and my words die in my throat. His eyes are red-rimmed, raw. He's been crying. GM Taeyong, the Ice King of Seoul's business world, has been crying. Don't say my name like that. Like I deserve anything from you. He moves to the chair and sits down hard, like his legs won't hold him anymore. The envelope falls from his hands onto the floor. I can't have children, he says to the carpet. That's what they told me when I was 16. Childhood illness, complications. The chances were less than 1%. So when you showed up with him, I thought? His laugh is broken. I thought it was just another con. Another person trying to exploit me. My chest aches. You have a son, I whisper. Against all odds, you have a son. I have a son. He repeats it like he's testing the words, seeing if they'll break in his mouth. I have a son and I threw you out. I called you a liar. I had security. His voice cracks. He drops his face into his hands. I should feel vindicated. I should feel angry. Instead, I just feel tired. Why didn't you try harder? Taeyong looks up suddenly, and now there's heat in his voice, anger, finally, something besides that awful flatness. 8 months, Dejun. Why did you wait 8 months to find me? The accusation hits like a slap. Are you serious right now? You had my child and you. I tried. The words explode out of me, loud enough that Hanul startles in his carrier. I lower my voice, but it shakes with rage. I tried, Taeyong. I called your office 20 times. 20. I went there 5 times in person before I was too pregnant to make the trip. Do you want to know what happened? He's staring at me now, really staring. Your secretary threw me out. The 3rd time, she threatened to call the police. She said, I swallow hard against the memory. She said Omega gold diggers show up monthly, and Mr. GM doesn't have time for trash like me. No. Taeyong's face has gone white. No, that's not. I have the call logs. I kept everything just in case you ever. My voice breaks. I never stopped trying. Not until Hanul was born and I realized I had to survive for him, not chase after someone who didn't want us. The door opens. Gulbai steps in hesitantly. Sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, but... Gulbai. Taeyong's voice is deadly quiet. Did my secretary block calls from Mr. Beck last year? Gulbai goes pale. Sir, I thought you knew. Your ex-boyfriend, Miho, he left instructions before you broke up. Anyone claiming to have your child was to be blocked immediately. He said they were all gold diggers, that you were too kind-hearted and they'd take advantage. The secretary was just following. Get out. Sir. Get out. Taeyong roars and Gulbai flees. The silence after is deafening. Taeyong stands slowly, and I can see him shaking, not with sadness now, but fury. Miho. That bastard. He knew. He knew and he slams his fist into the wall and I jump. I'm going to destroy him. I'm going to burn his entire world down. Taeyong. You tried. He turns to me and his face is devastated. You tried to tell me and I? God, Dejun, what have I done? I don't have an answer. I'm too busy trying not to fall apart myself. He takes a step toward me, then stops, like he's not sure he has the right. Please. Please don't leave. We need to talk about this. About us. All three of us. The word hangs in the air like a promise or a threat. I open my mouth to respond, but his phone rings. He glances at the screen and curses under his breath. My mother, he says. I have to, she's been calling all morning. He answers. Yes, mother, I'm at the what? How did you? His face drains of color. I understand. I'll handle it. He hangs up and looks at me with something like panic. My mother knows about Hanol. Someone sent her the DNA results. She's already called the family lawyers. Why would she need lawyers? But I already know. I can see it in his eyes. She wants custody, Taeyong whispers. She's going to try to take him from you. The floor drops out from under me. Hanol chooses that moment to wake up fully and start crying, like he can sense the danger circling us. I press him close, and Taeyong watches us with an expression I can't name. I won't let her, he says fiercely. I won't let anyone take him. Take either of you. But his phone is already ringing again. Taeyong's mother is exactly what I expected and somehow worse. She sits across from us in Taeyong's penthouse living room, a space so massive my entire apartment could fit in one corner, wearing a cream Chanel suit and an expression like she stepped in something unpleasant. That something is me. So you're the Omega. She doesn't say it like a question. Her eyes rake over my discount store jeans and faded sweater. Baek Dejun. Cafe worker. No family to speak of. Living in Nowongu in it. What did the report say? A semi-basement apartment. Mother. Taeyong's voice is tight. We discussed this. We discussed nothing. You presented me with a fait accompli. She turns to him, and her expression softens slightly. Taeyong, be reasonable. This child is a GM. He deserves the best education, the best opportunities, the best life. You can't possibly think that his father can provide that? I cut in, and she looks at me like I'm a dog that learned to speak. Because last I checked, Taeyong is one of the wealthiest men in Korea. Her smile is ice. I was referring to his primary caregiver. You're 23 years old, living in poverty, working minimum wage. What kind of life can you offer my grandson? The words hit exactly where she aimed them. Every insecurity I've had since Hanul was born rises up like bile. I offer him love, I say quietly. I offer him someone who's been there every single day since he was born. Who walks the floor with him at 3 a.m. when he's sick. Who? How touching. She sets down her teacup with a delicate click. Love doesn't pay for the best schools. It doesn't open doors. It doesn't erase the fact that you're a single Omega parent with no prospects. She leans forward. I'm prepared to offer you 50 million won. Sign over custody to Taeyong, and you can visit on holidays. Everyone wins. I'm on my feet before I realize I'm moving. Get out. Excuse me? You heard me. Get out of this apartment. Get away from my son. Your son? She laughs, sharp and cutting. The DNA test says otherwise. And when our lawyers are finished, you'll be lucky if. Mother, that's enough. Taeyong stands, his voice like steel. You need to leave. For a moment, she looks genuinely shocked. Then her expression hardens. I see. You're thinking with your hormones instead of your brain. Typical. She gathers her purse. I'll give you 1 week to come to your senses. After that, I'm filing for grandparents' rights. That child belongs with this family, not in some slum with. Oh, now. She leaves in a cloud of expensive perfume and barely contained rage. The moment the door closes, I collapse back onto the couch, shaking. I'm sorry, Taeyong says immediately. God, Dejun, I'm so sorry. She had no right. She's going to take him. My voice sounds hollow. She has money, lawyers, connections. What do I have? Nothing. I'm nothing. Stop. He kneels in front of me, and his hands hover near mine like he wants to touch but doesn't dare. You're not nothing. You're his father. You're the one who kept him alive and loved and safe when I was too stupid to see what was right in front of me. That won't matter in court. Then we don't go to court. He takes a breath. Marry me. I stare at him. What? Marry me. In name only, he adds quickly. You and Hanul move in here. We co-parent. You'd have access to everything, money, resources, security. My mother couldn't touch you. And Hanul would have both his parents. In name only, I repeat numbly. I wouldn't expect anything else. I know you don't, you can't possibly want. He runs a hand through his hair, frustrated. I'm offering you protection. Safety. Isn't that what matters? It should be enough. It should be everything. But the words taste like ashes. I need to think about it, I whisper. He nods and stands, putting distance between us like he can't bear to be close. Take all the time you need. Except I don't have time. That becomes clear over the next 3 days as Taeyong's mother's lawyers start circling. Papers arrive. Court dates are suggested. The walls close in. Padong thinks I'm insane for hesitating. He's offering you a way out, he says, watching Hanul play on a blanket in Taeyong's guest room, the room that would become ours. Who cares if it's not a real marriage? You'd be set for life. I care, I say quietly, because I'm falling in love with him, Padong. And living in this beautiful cage, pretending we're just roommates who share a kid? That would kill me. Then tell him that. I can't. He's doing this out of obligation, not. My phone rings. The hospital. Mr. Beck? We have an opening for Hanul's surgery. Tomorrow at 6 a.m. I know it's sudden, but a cancellation opened up and given the urgency of his condition. Yes. I don't even think. Yes, we'll be there. Tomorrow. Hanul's heart surgery is tomorrow, and I feel like someone's ripped mine out of my chest. The hospital waiting room is purgatory painted beige. It's been 6 hours. 6 hours since they took Hanul back, since I kissed his forehead and tried not to cry, since the anesthesiologist promised me everything would be fine. 6 hours of Taeyong sitting beside me, neither of us speaking, both of us slowly unraveling. When I was 16, Taeyong says suddenly, and they told me I couldn't have children, I thought my life was over. I thought, what's the point of anything if I can't pass it on? I don't know what to say, so I stay quiet. Then I met you at that gala. You were serving drinks, remember? You weren't supposed to be there, you were covering for a sick friend. And you were so... He laughs wetly. Alive. You made me feel like maybe I could be alive too, not just existing. Taeyong. I'm terrified, he admits, and his voice breaks. I'm terrified that I found him and now I'll lose him. That this is punishment for... Don't. I grab his hand without thinking. Don't do that to yourself. He stares at our joined hands like they're a miracle. Hours blur. A nurse brings coffee we don't drink. Padong arrives with food we can't eat. Night falls outside the windows. Then, finally, Mr. Beck? Mr. GM? We're on our feet instantly. The surgeon is smiling. The surgery went perfectly. He's in recovery now. You can see him in about an hour. I don't remember falling. I just know suddenly Taeyong's arms are around me, holding me up, and we're both crying into each other's shoulders like the world just started spinning again. Day 3 in the hospital. Hanul is recovering beautifully, babbling at nurses and trying to eat his 4-line. I'm dozing in the chair beside his crib when I feel someone watching me. Taeyong is sitting in the other chair, still wearing yesterday's clothes. He hasn't left. Not once in 3 days. He's ordered in meals, made business calls from the hallway, slept, badly, on the tiny couch. When I wake up at 2 a.m. to check on Hanul, Taeyong is always already awake, one hand through the crib bars, letting Hanul hold his finger. I lied, he says now, voice rough with exhaustion. When I said in name only. I lied. My heart stops. I'm falling in love with you, he whispers, staring at Hanul so he doesn't have to look at me. I think I started that night at the gala, and I'm terrified because everyone I've ever loved has left. My father died when I was 12. My ex told me I was too cold to ever really love. My mother, he laughs bitterly. You see what she's like. And I keep thinking, why would you stay? Why would you choose this? Choose me? I slide off my chair and kneel beside his, taking his face in my hands and forcing him to look at me. Because I'm falling in love with you too, you idiot. And I'm terrible at leaving. His breath hitches. Dejun. Ask me again, I whisper. Ask me to marry you. For real this time. Marry me. His hands come up to cover mine. Please. Marry me for real. Be my family. Let me spend the rest of my life proving I'm worth the chance. Yes. We kiss over Hanul's crib while he sleeps between us, unaware that his world just got exponentially bigger and safer and filled with more love than any of us knew what to do with. 6 months later. The wedding is small. Just Padong, Gulbai, a few close friends, and conspicuously not Taryong's mother, who's still furious but legally powerless now that we're married. Hanul is the ring bearer. He's supposed to toddle down the aisle with them tied to a pillow, but instead he tries to eat the rings, gets distracted by his own feet, and ends up being carried by Padong while the entire room laughs. I love you, Taryong whispers as we dance at the small reception, Hanul sandwiched between us, grabbing at both our faces. I know, I whisper back. You tell me every morning. Usually around 3 a.m. when this one wakes us up. Sorry I didn't believe you. His voice catches, like it still does sometimes when the guilt rises up. I press my forehead to his. You believe me now. That's what matters. Hanul chooses that moment to giggle, this full-belly laugh that lights up the room, and reaches for both of us at once, like he's trying to pull us closer together. I think he approves, Taryong says, smiling against my hair. Good, I say. Because we're kind of stuck with each other now. Thank God for that. We dance until Hanul falls asleep between us, and for the first time in my entire life, I understand what home feels like. It feels like this, messy and imperfect and absolutely right.